Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spirit World Insights. I'm Jackie, and today I'm going to be channeling through messages from the Entourage, talking about spirit guides, actually. And this is a topic that I have mentioned in other videos, but because sometimes what happens is when I'm working with clients during the week, these topics come back up and the guides are like, hey, this is worth mentioning again. And so when the collective could utilize some of this information, then that's when I start bringing it through for the videos. So what we're going to talk about is why your spirit guides may choose to come through or not to come through in the timing that you're looking for. I think it's really common, it was for me, that in the beginning when I had my awakening in 2012, and it was very common that I would have a couple people telling me that, you have a spirit guide with you. And I'm like, well, why doesn't she tell me who she is? Why isn't she coming through? Why can't I hear her or see her or whatever? And I think that's common for a lot of people. And that's probably why they want to bring through this message. So there are a few reasons that they want to talk about today in understanding why this is actually important under divine timing, is how they put it. Sometimes, so the first thing is that sometimes we're on a timeline that is not consciously ready, or your perspective is not such that you're ready to receive that kind of information from your guides yet. Okay, so maybe what's happening is they're just waiting for a timeline shift, for you to make that shift, for you to change your perspective so that you will be ready to receive their information coming in. You'll be ready to acknowledge the different ways that they're coming across, bringing through messages to you. Another thing is that you might not be confident in your own higher self yet. And this is a big one, because if you don't have the confidence within your own higher self, then what can happen is if a guide comes in, then you form an attachment to that guide and you think, well, I can't do anything without that guide. And that's not true. The guide is a guide. It's not your higher, well, it could be it could be an aspect of your higher self, but you're not supposed to form an attachment to where you trust the guide more than you trust you. Okay? Maybe I should say that again. If your guides were to come in before you had a clear connection to your own higher self, you may egoically form an attachment to the guide more than you have with your own higher self. And so you want to make sure that you are doing these things, that you sense the connection with your higher self, you believe in it, okay, and then that you trust it. Because when you form that okay, yeah, thank you. They're like the alliance. It's like once you open the alliance with your higher self, there is a bond of trust, love, compassion that takes over. And you fully start stepping. It's not a word. You step into a position that allows you to then take on whatever role that may challenge that position, but you know through your higher self that you're in that position and you're not gonna waver. You know, that's a part of embodying your higher self, your position of who you are. And if you need me to clarify that, how do y'all want to clarify that? Your position is your truth. It is something that is unwavering, unaffected by any thought, feeling, or emotion. It's like your anchor point, they say. So a position example would be, I will always be honest. I will always speak my truth. I will always be compassionate. It's very specific things that you hold a position in, and then a role are different temporary parts that you play to either challenge that position to help you grow and expand the soul. Maybe that's part of your journey here. Or it may just be to help you even help other people on their missions. But we take on different roles, again, that are temporary in order to either enhance that position or challenge that position according to what your soul contract is. Okay, hope that made sense. The other thing that they're talking about as being important, okay, thank you. So they're saying in order to get to know your higher self, they say this is important. These are the keys. You have to understand the two mindsets. You have to understand that there's an ego mind and that there's a true mind, which is the higher self. Because once you understand that you've got both running simultaneously at the same time, but they're very different, that's when you can connect into that higher self and then build that relationship. Okay? And it doesn't mean that you're poo-pooing the ego. The ego is still important because you are in human form and you will need its survival instinct memories off of the past in order to help you in certain situations. But I tell clients this all the time. Sometimes I just look at the ego and I kind of pat her on the head and I'm like, sit still. Just watch, just listen, just observe, you know, just relax. You know, I learned to be nice to my ego because, again, it's not like we're supposed to disregard it completely, but there are times where it does need to be minimal. It's like, bring it down, right? Pull it back, okay? And no, so they want me to go into this a little bit more, which I have done this in other videos, so I'll just try to be brief about it. The ego is only giving you information based off of your past experiences in this lifetime. This one, okay? It's pulling thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories of this lifetime in order to keep you alive. Period. It wants to be heard. It wants to be right. It doesn't care about your feelings. It's just spewing information all the time, right? Your higher self is more of a still, calm, quiet voice. It only speaks truth. It totally cares about how you think, feel, and act. And so it will be very specific in what it says. It will always be kind, compassionate, and loving. It's the little voice, and this is the example I come up with all the time. It says, take your umbrella when you are being told it's not going to rain that day. There are so many moments in your life that this little voice comes in, and it's funny because I'm like asking the guides, I'm like, why is it so quiet? Like, why do you really have to? And they go, because you have to enter a different perspective of consciousness in order to tap into it. And so it's about being simplified, they say, so that you will come to center, take a deep breath, and then move your awareness, your consciousness into a higher space to go, what is that? what did it say? Did I hear that right? That's what allows you to get there and to build that relationship with your higher self. Because otherwise, they say, when you're in the ego mindset, you're in 3D, and your consciousness is too low in order to be able to get the messages clearly. So that's why it's still and quiet and calm, is because they need to take you from this perspective of 3D into a 4th or 5th dimension at least of consciousness in order for you to connect and get the message and interpret them correctly. That was good. That's so important. It is. It's so important. And I learned this like over long periods of time. So I'm happy to be able to sit here today and teach you in a 15-minute video. Okay, what else do you want to say? Let me make sure. I kind of made notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't go too far off topic. Oh, yeah. Okay, so they were saying that also the different, understanding the difference between the ego and the higher self, the true mindset, is that if you don't understand the difference between the two, what happens is the guides can come in and give you information, and if you don't know the difference between the two mindsets, what do? You write it off. I didn't hear that. That couldn't have been right. That couldn't have been me. You make up, your ego comes up with excuses to then poo-poo the higher self. Right? So it's just, yeah, it's important to understand those two mindsets. And they're reminding me, it takes effort, you guys. It takes effort. This is not an easy task. It's not. We know this. So pull up your bootstraps and pull out your divine toolbox and open that puppy up and be like, what's in here that I have not explored yet that's going to help me in this moment to level myself up so that I can be ready to get these messages. Anyway, I could go off on a whole nother tangent when we talk about the toolbox, but I'm going to reel it back in. So they were saying, when you connect and you understand your higher self, you stop the doubt, you're able to listen, you're able to act on that, and then it builds the trust, it builds the relationship with your higher self, and it just gets stronger, and it gets louder at that point because the ego gets more quiet. And so, yeah, that's what you're working toward. And again, be patient with yourself, you guys. You can do this. You can do this. It does take time. And again, if it's not happening and you're like, oh, I wish they would just talk to me, start asking yourself, what do I need to do to make myself ready for it? And then hold the space that you get there. Even though you don't know when or what that looks like, just hold a loving space for yourself that you will get there. And I promise that will help you to cope with the waiting. That's what they said. I like it. Okay. The last thing that they want me to talk about is the fact that it could be contract stuff on why they haven't come through yet. That there could be something in your contract that says these are certain tasks that have to be implemented or completed before this guide comes in. Something like that. It was written beforehand. And this is where I feel like they want to talk about something kind of funny. I had a conversation one time with my guides, where I was like, where are you? Like, 'cause sometimes I feel like they're just gone, and I'm like, where are they? Where did they go? And sometimes they will back off because you need to experience something. You're either being tested or you're leveling up, and you're being watched, but you're not sensing them, so to say. And I laugh because when they're not there, you really like freak out. You're the desire, because I feel like for me the desire is usually so strong of what am I supposed to do, and then nobody's responding. And then after you get through whatever you needed to go through, and they come back and they were like, we were right there all along. We were back there. We were cheering you on, and we were like clapping, and you just had to. It's almost like your higher self is putting you through the initiation or something to get you to cross into the expansion of something new. And so that could be another reason on why they're not there. But here's the thing too, is because I asked them one time, or actually because I have two angels, that one is a guardian, one's a protector. And when they come in, and I had called on one of them, and the other one came through, and we're like, oh, they're taking the day off. But I'm here, is what they said. And I was like, so happy to hear that they actually like take time off for themselves. And that may sound weird, but it's like you're never not watched, held, loved, supported, ever. But you will find that maybe one of your angels or one of your guides takes some hours away, and again, because we're in linear time, it just feels that way. But I just thought that was really, I thought that was really cool. But then I was also watching something from Alberto Villoldo one time. If you don't know him, he's an amazing teacher, long bio, but won't go into that. But he's a shamanic teacher and healer. And he was talking one time about the shaman. As a shaman, you're never turned off. You're on 24/7. And so from that aspect, what I just talked about, you're never going to ask for guidance and never like get no response whatsoever at all, that no one is there. He's like, it won't happen. And so a lot of us that are carrying through past lives, lineage, stuff like that of shamanism, it's real common that we feel like we can never shut our switches off, that we are always turned on. And we are able to shut things down, but sometimes you're going to be asked to do specific things, and you're going to be like turning your switches off, putting up the barriers, putting up the colors in the mirrors, and whatever works for you, right? You're like, protect, and it's not working. If it's not working, it's because you are contracted, or this is your job, your mission, your task. So my suggestion at that point is do it, and then get on with, and then they'll back off. You know what I mean? They'll let go. And then the other thing they wanted me to mention as well is that they're talking to you through your clairs. So if you, again, are newly awakened and your clairs are not turned on yet, maybe just one or two of them are on, be patient, because as your consciousness raises and your guides start coming in more, these clairs are going to start coming more and more and more online, and you will be able to interpret, because they're using the clairs as the form of communication to give you messages. There's lots of clairs, And I have a video on that as well. Maybe I'll link this to the Clair video. This video I'll link, I'll put that at the end. So at the end you could click straight into the Clair video. Yeah, I'll do that. But there was one more thing you guys said. What was it? Clicking into... Yeah, because once it opens, yeah, you're a lot more receptive to the energy and the messages that are coming through, the more clairs that you end up opening up. Oh, yeah, okay, thank you. They said that the other thing is that some of you will have all this stuff come online and open up and you weren't even asking for it. That you are just all of a sudden bombarded, your clairs are turning on, and you're like, hold on, I don't want this. And that just means that you are in alignment at the time to begin your mission. How do y'all want to say this? I need to be a little sensitive about this. So, okay, they're saying so the timing is such that you can start bringing in your gifts and talents to utilize within your life to create and manifest the reality that you want with more ease and grace, but because of free will, you can block it. Okay, so it's coming online, but you're the one that makes the choice on whether you're going to pay attention to it, step into it, and start developing it and expand. Free will, you guys. That's what Earth is all about. It's, in my opinion, it's the hardest part of being on this planet is having free will. That's just my perspective. I'm like, yes, it would be so much easier without it. But anyway, okay, that's the message for today. I hope that the things that the Entourage talked about has been helpful for you. If it has, please give it one of those. If you know someone else that could utilize this information, please don't hesitate to share it. I will say that I'm going to start making some videos very soon that talk about the Entourage a little bit more, talk about me a little bit more, what I have to offer. You guys, if you've not been to my website, I hope you'll check it out. And if you do need some guidance, some assistance, some interpretation, or an intercessor, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I just want to say thanks to all of you that are subscribing, those that have found me, whether it was on Clear Vibe or Spirit World Insights, and thanks for your support. I really, really appreciate it. If you would like to contribute, you can even do donations, loving donations on my website. I appreciate that as well. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. Until next Saturday, many, many blessings, and yeah, all right, big virtual hug. All right, talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks, you guys.